Hello and welcome. Namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up over the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India's defence forces are not just protecting borders, but also showcasing strength in new age warfare through the 11 years of his tenure. 3 days of national mourning declared in Austria with 10 killed in a school shooting in Graz, including the suspect. The police identify him as Austrian with a legal weapon who shot himself in the school's bathroom. And California Governor Gavin Newsom dares Donald Trump to arrest him amid Los Angeles protests. Prime Minister Modi-led government has completed 11 years in office. Up next, we revisit the government's initiatives in revolutionizing defence capabilities. Now, Prime Minister Modi on Tuesday said India's defence forces are not just protecting borders, but also showcasing strength in new age warfare through the 11 years of his tenure. The PM expressed pride in the collective resolve of the people of India and the unwavering determination to propel India towards greater self-sufficiency and technological excellence in defence. Responding to a post on X by MyGov India, the PM said that the last 11 years have marked significant changes in India's defence sector with a clear focus on both modernisation and becoming self-reliant when it comes to defence production. It's gladdening to see how the people of India have come together with the resolve of making India stronger. So in the last 11 years, India's defence sector has undergone a historic transformation under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's inspiring leadership, which has led to stronger borders, modern armed forces, indigenous weapons, record defence exports and global trust. Take a look at this report. With a $4 trillion economy and a defence budget of $80 billion, India is destined for unprecedented progress. India's defence exports have surged by 334% since 2014, reaching 90 countries, while diplomacy has redefined the country's global role. This is a story of a new India, bold, self-reliant and respected across the world. The defence revolution under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has transformed India into a self-reliant military power. The 2014 Make in India initiative reduced dependence on imports and boosted indigenous production. Foreign direct investment or FDI in defence increased up to 74%, bringing global expertise to India. Over 5,000 companies are now promoting defence innovation with exports reaching 90 countries. Operation Sindoor, launched on the 7th of May, showcased India's military precision. In response to the 22nd of April terrorist attack in Pahalgam, which claimed the lives of 26 innocent civilians, India struck 9 terrorist camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir or POK, decimating them completely. Rafale jets equipped with Scalp missiles, BrahMos cruise missiles, and indigenous drones destroyed multiple targets, while the Akash Tir air defence system successfully neutralized Pakistani attacks, including drones and missiles. Bureau Report, DD India. Rapid progress in the last 11 years where defence is concerned in terms of not just indigenization but also modernization. Now, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Tuesday called on the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, in Brussels. He praised the strong condemnation of the Pahalgam terror attack and solidarity in combating terrorism. Both sides acknowledged the benefits of enhancing cooperation in trade, technology, connectivity and security to deepen the India-European Union partnership. The External Affairs Minister is on an official visit to France, EU and Belgium from the 8th to the 14th of this month to further deepen India's friendly relations and give renewed momentum to ongoing cooperation in diverse fields. And earlier, Dr. Jaishankar held talks with the Belgian counterpart Maxime Prevot on combating terrorism and bolstering bilateral ties between the two nations. The External Affairs Minister also held wide-ranging discussions on deepening cooperation, including in trade, investment, technology, defence and security, pharmaceuticals, clean energy and mobility. Belgium is the first stop in Dr. Jaishankar's week-long visit to Europe. And during that week-long visit to Europe, Dr. Jaishankar has also held talks with leaders of the European Union and France to boost bilateral ties and reaffirm India's policy of zero tolerance against terrorism. Dr. Jaishankar also interacted with members of the Indian community of Belgium and Luxembourg. He discussed with them the steady progress of India-Belgium ties and engagement with the European Union. Dr. Jaishankar apprised them of Indians' efforts at countering terrorism and ensuring progress and prosperity of the country.
A lot of things are happening in the world, particularly in respect of Europe itself. There is a much sharper interest in Europe to build ties, stronger ties with India. I think part of it is the direction in which the world is going. There is an increasing sense that, look, all countries, I mean, in a way, you know what, we used to speak about Atmanirbhar Bharat. I think there is also Atmanirbhar Europe now in the making. They realize that, look, many of the problems of Europe have to be addressed by Europe itself, that they have to stand more on their own feet, and therefore they also need more friends. They need stronger relationships with other countries, and I think that's very much kind of a thinking which is driving the process. Now,
And India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, who's on an official visit to the UAE, met with Ali Al-Nuaimi, Chairperson of Defence Affairs, Interior and Foreign Affairs Committee, Federal National Council, on Tuesday. During the meeting, both the leaders reaffirmed their commitment to combating terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. The discussions also covered avenues for strengthening parliamentary cooperation between India and the UAE. Earlier, India's Foreign Secretary met with Sheikh Nahya bin Mubarak Al Nahya, Minister for Tolerance in Abu Dhabi. The discussions highlighted the deep-rooted ethos of harmony shared by India and the UAE, reinforcing the commitment of both nations to mutual respect and cultural understanding. Now, the third United Nations Ocean Conference at the UNOC is taking place in Nice, France, where leaders from around the world have come together to discuss how to protect and use our oceans in a better and more sustainable manner. India's Environment and Science Minister spoke at the conference and shared India's steps.
Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I am pleased to reaffirm India's unwavering commitment to the Sustainable Development Goal SDG 14. Since the second United Nations Ocean Conference, India has made significant progress, which is also relevant to the theme of this year's conference, that is, accelerating action and mobilizing all actors to conserve and sustainably use the ocean.
He further said India is taking steps to protect its large and rich marine areas.
I think this was also an opportunity for us to share with the other parties, with the other delegates, that India has already signed the BBNJ, which is Beyond Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction Agreement. And the process of ratification is going on, which means that India has already committed itself also in writing to the cause of conserving the oceans, to the cause of maintaining the biodiversity, and to the cause of health of the marine environment.
17th edition of the joint military exercise Nomadic Elephant 2025 between India and Mongolia is currently underway at the Special Forces Training Center in Ulaanbaatar. Focused on the conduct of non-conventional operations in semi-urban and mountainous terrain under the United Nations mandate, the exercise aims to enhance the operational capabilities of both the forces. This collaboration not only boosts the defence capabilities of India and Mongolia but also reaffirms their shared commitment to promoting peace, security and stability in the region. Now, the Indian Navy, in a closely coordinated search and rescue operation, has safely rescued 18 out of 22 crew members of Singaporean-flagged MV Wanhai 503. The MV had reported the internal container explosion and resultant major fire on board. INS Surat and a Dornier aircraft were immediately deployed by the Indian Navy to render necessary assistance. The ship is presently proceeding to New Mangalore for disembarkation and further medical management. The flood situation in Assam, a state in northeastern India, is showing signs of improvement, though challenges persist across several districts. The SDRF, the DDRF, Inland and Water Transport, Fire and Emergency Services, local administration offices are on carrying out rescue operations relentlessly. On Thursday, 126 medical teams were deployed, with Kachar alone set up with 88 teams. The SDRF teams rescued over 173 people through 17 boats that were deployed in the state. Over 41,000 flood victims are taking shelter in 175 relief camps set up, and over 2.1 lakh non-camp inmates are being provided immediate aid relief in 210 relief distribution centres. The number of flood-affected people has also reduced to over 1.6 lakh across 9 districts. Train services in southern Assam continue to be affected due to rising water levels on railway tracks. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Dr. Hemant Biswa Sarma has been actively assessing the situation on the ground, visiting relief camps in districts like Hailakandi and Sribhumi. The Indian Met Department has issued a yellow alert for all northeastern states, forecasting heavy rainfall at isolated places over Assam and Meghalaya. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the world as well. Nigeria's ongoing cost of living crisis is now impacting even wealthier dog owners who are finding it difficult to afford pet food. Keeping pets, particularly dogs, is a relatively new trend in Nigeria, where chickens or goats were traditionally raised for food. Over the last 20 years, urban households have increasingly adopted dogs for security amid rising violent crime and for companionship. In Indonesia, permits revoked on Tuesday for 4 of the 5 mining companies operating in the eastern archipelago of Raja Ampat after activists shared videos of islands damaged by nickel extraction. Protests against mining in Raja Ampat, a UNESCO-designated global geopark known for its marine biodiversity, dominated Indonesian social media last week, with users sharing a graphic of the area's blue waters with the hashtag Save Raja Ampat. And in Australia, to counter loneliness among aging population, an initiative in Canberra is helping to tackle the problem, helping older men build connections with teaching them cooking skills to boost their confidence. Classes are run by volunteer instructors who guide the men through everything from the basics of chopping to making a 3-course meal. Not a bad thing to learn then, cooking. Now, still to come on this edition of DD India Live. The World Bank slashes its global growth forecast for 2025 on the back of higher tariffs and significant headwinds for all economies. And the 2026 Formula 1 calendar is out. It gets underway with the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne on the 8th of March.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, in a devastating act of school shooting, at least 9 people have been killed and a number of others injured in the southern Austrian city of Graz on Tuesday. According to the police, the shooter died by suicide. They confirmed that the suspect was a student of the school who had not graduated.
Early morning at 10 a.m. we got the alert that several shots were heard in a building. We started a police operation after this, including with the task force Cobra. At the moment, the situation has been secured. And no, there is no more danger for other civilians. However, there were several deaths.
Now, many of the injured were taken to hospitals following this tragic event. Austrian Chancellor Christian Stocker has announced that the country will observe 3 days of national mourning. The European Union has also offered its condolences to the families of the victims and the entire city of Graz.
Start with the absolutely horrible and tragic news that we've just heard regarding events in a school in Graz, in Austria. We would like to offer our deepest condolences to the families of the victims and the entire city of Graz, and we stand together in mourning and while we seek clarity in the wake of this horrible event in a school.
The Kremlin said on Tuesday that Russia remains ready to return the bodies of Ukrainian soldiers killed in the ongoing conflict and is currently in talks with Kyiv regarding the exchange. According to Russia, some bodies are still awaiting handover in refrigerated trucks near an agreed exchange point, a situation they claim has persisted since Saturday due to Ukraine's alleged delay in collection. The Kremlin also noted that it does not yet have information on the exact number of Russian soldiers' bodies Ukraine is prepared to hand over. There is no final understanding. We are in touch and we compare the numbers. As soon as there is any final understanding, we hope that the exchange takes place. There is one true fact. For several days, we've been ready at the border with the trucks we mentioned to give the bodies to the Ukrainian side. Now, US President Donald Trump has ordered active duty US Marines and 2,000 more National Guard troops into Los Angeles, vowing those protesting immigration arrests would be hit harder than ever. Trump's extraordinary measures of mobilization of 700 full-time professional military personnel and thousands of National Guard troops has come on the 4th day of street protests triggered by dozens of immigration arrests in a city with huge foreign-born and Latino populations. California Governor Gavin Newsom has slammed the move, posting on X that US Marines shouldn't be deployed on American soil, facing their own countrymen to fulfill the deranged fantasies of a dictatorial president. This is un-American, he said that. Now the deployment has come after demonstrators took over streets in downtown LA on Sunday, torching cars and looting stores in scenes that saw law enforcement responding with tear gas and rubber bullets. Monday's demonstrations unfolded largely peacefully, however, after weekend protests triggered by dozens of arrests of people authorities said were illegal migrants and gang members. Meanwhile, the United Nations has urged for joint efforts to prevent the escalation of marginalization or militarization of Los Angeles. Deputy spokesperson of the UN Secretary General Farhan Haq has emphasized the importance of joint efforts of local, state and federal authorities to de-escalate the unrest in Los Angeles.
We certainly hope that all parties on the ground will de-escalate the situation. We do not want to see any further militarization of this situation, and we encourage the parties at the local, state, and federal levels to work to do that.
Now, Bangladesh Students' League President Saddam Hussein has strongly criticized the interim government led by Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus warning against its increasing closeness with Pakistan. In an interview, he termed the diplomatic shift dangerous, claiming it dishonors the legacy of the 1971 Liberation War and threatens regional stability. Hussain, who represented a substantial base of politically active youth affiliated with the Awami League, claimed that Yunus's interim rule not only tolerates but actively promotes relations with Pakistan's intelligence agencies and extremist organizations. And time now for some developments from the business and economy world. Now, the World Bank on Tuesday slashed its global growth forecast for 2025 by 0.4 percentage point, and that is to 2.3%, saying that higher tariffs and heightened uncertainty pose a significant headwind for nearly all economies. In its twice-yearly Global Economic Prospects report, the bank lowered its forecast for nearly 70% of all economies, including the United States, China and Europe, as well as 6 emerging market regions. US President Trump has upended global trade with a series of on-again, off-again tariff hikes that have increased the effective US tariff rate from below 3% to the mid-teens, its highest level in almost a century, and triggered retaliation by China and other countries. Now, top US and Chinese economic officials resumed trade talks in London on Tuesday, aiming to bridge divides on critical export controls and ease global supply chain concerns. The second day of negotiations follows a productive first day on Monday, with both delegations seeking a breakthrough on issues like rare earth materials. The talks are crucial to prevent further supply chain disruptions and mitigate risks to global economic growth. The US delegation is spearheaded by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Trade Representative Jameson Greer. China is represented by Vice Premier He Lifeng. And India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has chaired the 29th meeting of the Financial Stability and Development Council in Mumbai on Tuesday. The meeting was also attended by India's Central Bank Governor Sanjay Manotra. During the meeting, the FSDCs deliberated upon issues related to macro-financial stability and India's preparedness to deal with them. The Finance Minister exhorted the Council to take proactive steps in ensuring that citizens should have a seamless KYC experience processed across the financial sector. And India's Minister for Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal, is in Switzerland, co-chairing a productive business roundtable on the machinery, electrical and metal industry with Swiss Federal Councillor Guy Parmelin. The leaders discussed on boosting innovation, facilitating partnerships and joint workforce training. Addressing the media, Minister Piyush Goyal said that the free trade agreement with each FTA countries will strengthen trade relations and foster economic cooperation.
जो फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट स्विट्ज़रलैंड के साथ हुआ है और ये एफ्टा कंट्रीज़ के साथ हुआ है, उसमें से आगे चलकर हम आपसी संबंध और सुधारने के लिए म्यूचुअल रिकग्निशन एग्रीमेंट के माध्यम से भारत की कंपनियों को जब स्विट्ज़रलैंड में या नॉर्वे, लिechtenstein या आइसलैंड में कुछ सामान बेचना हो तो भारत में ही उसकी रेगुलेटरी अप्रूवल्स हो जाए और स्विस कंपनीज को अगर कुछ भारत में देना हो तो स्विट्ज़रलैंड में ही उनका रेगुलेटरी अप्रूवल हो जाए। ऐसा एक दो तरफा द्विपक्षीय समझौता जिससे दोनों देशों के बीच में व्यापार भी बढ़े, अलग अलग नई टेक्नोलॉजीज भारत में आ सके।
And time now for some sporting updates. And Formula One has announced the 2026 calendar on Tuesday as the championship begins with Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne on the 8th of March. There will be 2 races in Spain next season, with Madrid's making its debut in September and Italy's Imola having been dropped from the 24-round calendar. China's Shanghai circuit will host round 2 a week later as the sport enters a new engine era, with Cadillac also arriving as the 11th team. Japan will host round 3 as a standalone event on the 29th of March. The season will end in Abu Dhabi on the 6th of December. Hockey India on Tuesday announced the junior men's team for the upcoming 4 Nations tournament, scheduled to be held in Germany from the 21st to the 25th of this month. The 24-member squad will be led by forward Raijit Singh Handal, defender Amir Ali has been named as vice captain. Each team will play against every other team in a single round-robin pool stage. The top two teams will then face off in the final. The prestigious competition will feature India, Spain, Australia and host Germany. The tournament will serve as a vital preparatory platform for the Indian Colts ahead of the FIH Junior Men's Hockey World Cup later this year. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen to download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.